Hey everyone, Rogue Gold here, and today we're back with another build video. This time we've got one for PVE, and that's a tank build, specifically one that can handle legendaries. I've got some gameplay of me using this in a legendary at the end of the video, so be sure you stick around and see that. But yeah, this build is really nice. It has good survivability. There's a few different ways you can run it, but I'll get into that as we go along. Ready? Let's go. So let's just hop right into it. As I'm sure you could tell off of my shoulder, I am using a True Patriot build, and so yeah, here it is. My primary is an ACR. I do like to have an AR, and we're using the half shield on this build, so you need either an AR, an SMG, or a shotgun. Does a rifle work? Yeah, a rifle works obviously because of the focus cheese right now, so one of those, but I like an ACR. It does decent damage. It's one of the highest damage ARs, and it's nice to have preservation, which is killing an enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds, and then headshot kills repair by an additional 10%, so 20% total. Running preservation in a legendary is really nice, just if you're not running a healer, and you'll see at the end of the video, my group and I was just me and one other guy, and so if you're doing a two-man, you don't have a healer, this is a nice way to keep yourself healed up, along with the white flag on True Patriot. So I like preservation, but you can really run whatever you want there. The secondary, it is very important. It's not, crucial. If you don't have it, you can do this, but the Sweet Dreams is super nice to run, and if you don't know, the new exotic talent after they reworked it is Sandman. Melee attacks instantly kill non-elite enemies, so any purples or reds within legendaries, obviously not dogs or mini tanks, but any troops that are purple or red, they will die instantly from a melee on a 15-second cooldown, and this is just a huge clutch and crutch to have for your build, and I use it a lot. You'll see in the footage I use it. So if you don't have this, it's okay, but if you do, definitely use it. And if you don't, I'll leave a tag at the video to where I have a video on where to get every exotic right now, but basically farming DCD is going to be your best bet, or just targeted shotguns if you already had it during year one. And then for my third slot, I just have a sawed off with preservation, pretty much what I run on every build, but you can run whatever you want there. And yeah, I'll get into running this in the version of having the Liberty and a full shield. I'll get into that at the end, so just if you're wondering about that, just wait until then and I will talk about it then. For the mask, I have a True Patriot mask, armor, and explosive resistance. So you're going to see pretty much on every piece, unless I don't have it, of this build, I am running explosive resistance. And again, at the end of this video, I will go into all of the different ways you can run this build, because there are several different variations and focuses. But with this one, I'm really focusing on survivability. So I'm running explosive resistance on all of my pieces, and I have close to 50%. If we go over to my stats, I have, I think, what is it? Yeah, 48.6. So anytime those drones fly at you, and there's a lot of drones in legendaries, you're going to be that much more tanky and be able to have more survivability because of that explosive resist. So I'm running that there with armor and incoming repair mod, which does affect the True Patriot healing. So if you have incoming repair, you can run that, or you could run protection from elites or armor on kill, whatever you want. I just like incoming repair so you can get healed up more. I'm running the Point Man, which is pretty crucial. The only choices here are this or the exotic chest piece, which basically gives your team a group-wide unbreakable. I like Point Man just because I can really tank with the shield for that 5 seconds if I'm getting a huge wave of ads pushing, but you can run that or the exotic chest. I wouldn't recommend doing the True Patriot chest. It's not really that worth it. So I'm running armor here, 8.8 explosive resist. Armor regen is the one thing that I obviously wouldn't really care to have, but I don't have a better choice right now. And then another incoming repair mod. For the holster, we have the Forge. So the choice here is you can either run the Forge, which gives you plus 10% shield health, or you can run the, I don't have them in my inventory, but the Motherly Love named gloves give you 20% skill health. So you will get more health if you use the Motherly Loves, but this one is incoming repairs because it's RNK, and that one is Alps, I believe, or something else, so you won't get the brand bonus that's actually going to help your build. So it's a choice there if you want to sacrifice that 10% health for something else, but I'm running the Forge, armor, shield health, and then headshot damage. Would rather have explosive resist, but headshot damage is nice because with the ACR, it's really accurate, so you can pretty easily get some extra headshots in to get the most damage out of it. Even though you're not the damage dealer, you still can do a little bit. And then True Patriot Backpack, definitely run this one instead of a high end for a talent, because the amplification talent is that it just buffs up all of those different colors. There's some thing about it being bugged right now with your team, but I would just run this. Just don't even try. I mean, you could do Protector. That's also a good option. I'll, again, said this like 10 times. So I would talk about the different variations at the end of the video, but I would recommend doing the True Patriot Backpack. So we have armor, again, explosive resist, and incoming repair mod. For the gloves, True Patriot again, armor, explosive resistance, and for the knee pads, same deal. Alright, let's move on and talk about the skills, because that's really where the whole tankiness of this build is coming from. I mean, I do have 1.8 million armor, but this is really how you're going to be able to protect your team. So I'm running a 4.8 and 4.5% shield health mod, and then down here, I am running a damage bonus one just because The only other option I have is holstered regen, and that's not, I mean, that is helpful, but I'd rather just have a bit of extra damage. But whatever mods you want to run, I would definitely recommend shield health, and you could run some type of regeneration. But yeah, shield health is very valuable considering this one has a lot less health than the full shield. And then for my secondary skill, I'm running the Artificer Hive. So this is the one variation you can run. You can run with Technician, and with that, you get the EMP grenade, which is super helpful against dogs and mini tanks and any of the robotics that the Black Tusk are using in Legendaries. And then because of that, you get the Artificer Hive, which constantly, not constantly, but it heals up your shield as you're going. If I back out of here, you see it just shot one out, and now I have that buff at the bottom of my HUD that's giving the shield more health, and it amplifies basically everything about it. So I really like to run that. And this is if you're running Technician, then I definitely recommend you run the Artificer Hive, because as you can see, skill repair 24%. So it's almost a quarter of my shield's health every time it shoots a charge, which is on about a, I don't know, 15-second cooldown or a little less. So it's really nice, and you can just, even if you have the shield, you have it and then they destroy it, or you just throw it away and it's out like that. So you have a quarter of your health left. As soon as you pull it back out, you just get another charge and it heals back up. So it's a very nice option to run. So yes, Technician, definitely run the Artificer Hive. So let's talk about some of those different variations that I've been mentioning this entire video. My way that I have it set up is very tuned to survivability and just strict tankiness. But if you want to run more of a utility option, you can also, I have it saved down here, run the Firewall specialization. So let's talk about the trade-offs here. The special skill for the Firewall is a version of the half shield called the Striker, and it gives you extra damage for enemies that are in front of you. Now, obviously the tank isn't the primary damage dealer, but this will help you deal more damage and take those enemies down faster if they are reds and purples and your Sweet Dreams is not up. So that definitely is a bonus to have. You lose the Artificer Hive because you're not using Technician, so inherently your shield and yourself are going to be a little bit more squishy and not as tanky. And so the way I have it, I just want my shield to have as much uptime as possible and not be on cooldown. So I'm running the Artificer because I just want it to be healed up as much as possible. But if you're running it with Firewall, then you have this new skill slot that is free to use something else. And so you can put on the Jammer Pulse, which helps immensely with all of the different Black Tusk robotics and all of that, and healers and everything. Or you could also spec into status effects. So that is another variation. If you wanted to ditch explosive resistance, you could go for status effects. And then you could run a blind or firefly here, like a lot of people have done. And that can help shut down a lot of ads for your damage dealers to get more hits in. So that's another option right there. Like I said, there's tons of different ways you can run this, but the way I like to run it is to get the most survivability as possible. Let's talk about another one, and that's using the Liberty with a full shield. I tried this. I tried doing a build that was as tanky as possible, that was using the Liberty with a full shield, and then I spec'd into status effects and used the Blind or Firefly so that my damage dealers could get more hits in, and I really didn't like it. You really don't deal any damage with the Liberty because it's a pistol and because you're running 0 reds at all. And really, when I'm running the ACR in this variation, I'm actually able to deal damage. I'm able to take some of them out and whittle some of them down, and it's also a lot easier to apply the True Patriot marks, although I wasn't using that with the pistol, but you get my idea. I don't like the Liberty, but some people definitely would. And if you run that full shield instead of the half, you do get way more health. Right now, this one is, 4.9 million, and with the full shield, 13.7 million. So clearly, it's way, way more tanky, but if you then don't have the Artificer, if you're not running Technician, then you don't get healed up. So it's really just trade-offs. You really have to make that decision of what kind of focus you want to go into with your build. Because, like I said, I like mine to be survivability. I would say the main ones are either this way, using Firewall with the Jammer Pulse for more utility, or go full support and run the status effects for that Blind or Firefly and use the full shield. I would say those are the 3 main ways you can do it. I'm sure there are more. But yeah, True Patriot with some variation of that is going to be what you want to run here, and definitely the Sweet Dreams helps. And yeah, Point Man Exotic Chest Piece, using either this or the Motherly Loves, some variation of that is going to be what you want to run. Okay guys, so that's a bit of a jumbled look at the build. I'm sorry if that got super convoluted there at the end. My main point that I was trying to convey was that there are legitimately several ways you can run this that do in fact work. I like the option where I'm as tanky as possible so I can paint the enemies with the True Patriot marks for my allies, but perhaps you prefer to be less direct and use the full shield and blind the opponents. It's really all up to you. But again, just make sure you've got those key components of True Patriot, the shield, either the Exotic Chest Piece or the Point Man, either Motherly Loves or the Forge, and the Sweet Dreams if you have it. If you've got all those, you're set for success. Alright, well I'm going to play the gameplay now, but let me explain what you're going to see here. For the first clip, and the first clip only, that's the first room of Roosevelt, I'm using a variation I showed you with the Firewall and a Jammer Pulse. Everything everything after that is with the Technician and the Artificer Hive. I did this so that you guys could get a look at how each performs and feels to play, so hopefully that doesn't make things too confusing. I'll put a tag up at the top of the corners of the screen labeling which variation I'm currently using, so hopefully that helps. Lastly, I should mention that we probably would have gotten much further in this run if we hadn't run into invisible NPCs, which is now the second time that this has happened to my friend and I who've run this together. As soon as the first heavies drop out of the helicopter, half of the ads get turned invisible. It's beyond annoying to lose all that progress and time, especially on such a high-risk activity. So Massive, if you're listening, please, please, please fix this. It's really bad. So yeah, the last clip of the footage I've got will be us getting jumped by an invisible shotgunner, so enjoy that. But yeah, guys, that's going to be all for this one. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Leave any thoughts or questions on the build, and let me know what your legendary experience has been like so far. Hopefully you haven't been shut down by invisible ads like we were. Until the next one, guys, Rogue Gold, out.
An agent needs assistance. Agent down.
I'll cover you.
Immediate medical assistance needed. Vital signs critical. Agent out of action.
And again, it just works.